Previously, Anya officially became one of Eden Academy's students. Accompanied by her foster parents, Anya started her first day at school. Days before, Forger had done something with the classroom arrangement, putting Anya in the same class with Damien Desmond. He hopes Anya can become one of Damien's best friends, so he will have a chance to meet Desmond in person and finish his mission immediately. It's his plan B if Anya can't gain any Stella stars to be part of Imperial Scholars. Unfortunately, Damien and his gang bully her after knowing Anya doesn't come from an elite family. On her first day at school, Anya's only friend is Becky. Another shocking thing is instead of Stella Star, Anya gets a Tonitrus bolt for hitting Damien. Anya defends her action, saying she did that to protect Becky. The following day, while preparing breakfast for his family, Forger recalls how he had worked hard to get Anya accepted into Eden Academy. His plan B also failed because Anya punched Damien yesterday. Knowing that accomplishing his mission won't be easy after that incident, Forger still refuses to give up. During breakfast, Forger cheers Anya and Yor up, even though they both seem upset over what occurred yesterday. After that, Forger and Yor send Anya to the bus stop. Before Anya leaves with the school bus, he asks Anya to apologize to Damien. Arriving at Eden, Anya meets Becky. They later go to the classroom together. On their way to the classroom, Anya and Becky meet Damien and his gang. Anya tries to apologize, but Becky pulls her away. Meanwhile, Forger, who can't stop worrying about Anya, follows her to school. In the classroom, the incident seems to affect Anya's reputation in the academy. Most of the students in the room are discussing Anya, and are keeping their distance out of fear of what she did. Damien secretly observes Anya, feeling pissed off at what happened yesterday. During the first class, the teacher teaches the math, but Anya nods off. The teacher sees her and feels that she is indeed a misbehaving student. The next lesson is science. Becky wakes Anya and they move to another place for that science class. It is later revealed that Forger also tries to disguise himself to remind Anya to apologize. During their outdoor science class, Forger shows Anya a message by reflecting light in a mirror, telling her that today is a good day to apologize. With her mind-reading ability, Anya somehow hears her dad's voice, and she feels pressure to do so. Some other secret signs created by Forger also appear in every class Anya attends. Unfortunately, even after the lunch break, Anya hasn't found a good opportunity to apologize to Damien. Forger then decides to get Becky away from Anya, because she always prevents Anya from apologizing to Damien. During lunchtime, Forger uses the school announcement to call Becky to the student hall. Left alone in the cafeteria, Anya gathers her courage to apologize to Damien. On the other hand, Damien finds himself unable to talk while standing in front of Anya. Damien's friends start to wonder what insult he will come up with, but as Anya can read their minds, she feels offended and starts crying and apologizing. Damien is moved by that, and his face gets red as he appears to fall in love with Anya. Damien claims he is angry, but he begins to understand that's not the reason. He leaves after declaring he will never forgive her, since he finds it hard to accept his feelings. Forger observed everything and believes that Damien fully rejected Anya's apology. He thinks that his plan B has failed. At home, Forger decides to push Anya into academics. He appears to be more strict than usual, forcing her to study. Yor tries to help Anya, but Anya gets scared after hearing her psycho mind. Anya then runs away from her parents and locks herself in her bedroom. Forger and Yor then talk heart-to-heart about parenting. Forger thinks that he isn't an ideal father for Anya, but Yor reminds him that in the previous school interview, Anya gave both of them a full score, indicating she sees them as the best parents. Forger thinks that he should probably try his best to understand Anya better. He then goes to her room to tell her that she can watch her favorite spy show. When he enters Anya's room, he finds Anya sleeping over her textbooks, while has been trying to study. Forger moves Anya to her bed and decides to record her show. Meanwhile, in another place, Yor's younger brother, Yuri, just came back from his work. He meets his friend who congratulates him on his sister's marriage. The fact that his sister was getting married without telling him shocks him. The following day, Anya goes to school like usual, but it seems like she still can't keep up with the class. She is asked to answer a math question, but her answer is completely wrong. Meanwhile, Forger goes to meet Handler. Handler asks him how his daughter is progressing. Forger says that everything goes smoothly. Handler then asks him to be more careful, since the number of spies and informants arrested by Ostania keeps increasing. In the city hall where Yor works, a worker named Jim Hayward is arrested by the Ostania State Security Service for espionage. Hayward is suspected to have been selling the financial department's confidential documents on the black market. While talking with her workmates, Camilla, One of her fellow clerks in the city hall asks Yor whether she has told her brother about her marriage. Yor is shocked after realizing that she forgets about it, and even hasn't told Yuri her new house's phone number. In the State Security Service headquarters, Hayward is interrogated about the documents he has sold. It is later revealed that Yuri has moved from his previous job to join the State Security Service. Yuri then helps his fellow workers to interrogate Hayward. He asks Hayward about a spy called Twilight. It's a hint that Yuri has aimed to catch Twilight and keep both his country and his sister safe. He also told Hayward that he decides not to tell Yor about his new job, since his sister will be worried about him. What Yor knows until now is that Yuri is still working in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. In Forger's residence, Anya is watching a spy show with Forger sitting behind her. Anya happens to learn fractions from the show. Forger praises her for her small achievement, and wonders if Anya can learn better by watching her favorite shows. Suddenly, Yor arrives at home in a panic. Yor nervously informs Forger that her brother would be paying a visit that evening to congratulate her on being married. She asks Forger what they should do, to which he responds that it is precisely the occasion they have set up the lovey-dovey marriage set for, furnishing the home with items that a loving married couple would have. While waiting for Yuri to arrive, Anya asks Forger when Yuri would arrive. Forger advises her to go to bed because it is becoming late. Yor says that he must be working late. Anya pleads that she wants to meet her uncle and later dozes out on Forger's lap. Finally, Yuri arrives with a bucket of roses. Both Yuri and Forger examine each other. Yuri wants to know if Forger is a good man for his sister. Meanwhile, Forger wants to know whether Yuri will become a threat to his fake family. Yuri also appears to be more careful since he doesn't want her sister to know about his real job. Unfortunately, while having a brief talk with Forger, the latter realizes that Yuri has been memorizing a conversation from a manual used by most of the Ostanian agents. He then finds out that Yuri is working for the State Security Service, not the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. On the other hand, Yuri hasn't realized that Forger is Twilight, a spy who he is looking for. Half-drunken Yuri later flashes back to his past with his sister. Yor has been working hard to raise him, that's why he is protective of her, and wishes her sister will marry someone who can make her happy. Both Yor and Forger try to assure him that they marry because of love. Yuri still doesn't believe it, he even demands them to kiss in front of him to prove their love for each other. In response to Yuri's requests, Forger assures Yor that they will simply carry on as usual. Yor is unprepared for her first kiss and starts to blush violently as Forger leans in. Yor is too shy and can't kiss him sober, so she grabs the wine bottle and drinks a little. The drunken Yor turns into someone aggressive and pushes Forger down to kiss him. As Yuri watches, a memory of Yor nurturing him and his desire to wed her comes to him. He tries to stop Yor from kissing Forger. Yor, who wants to slap Forger because she is too shy, accidentally hits Yuri and injures him badly. After the incident, Yuri concedes defeat and decides to go home. Forger admires the bond between Yor and Yuri, promising him that since Yor has become his family, he will also protect and support her. Yuri then goes home and the spouses start to clean up the mess. The next morning, while having breakfast together, Anya reads Forger's mind and finds out that her uncle is a part of the State Security Service. Anya thinks it's a cool job, but it's too bad that she didn't meet him last night. Forger, on the other hand, thinks that Yor is a bit suspicious. He wants to know whether his wife is indeed innocent and doesn't know anything about her brother's job. Before leaving, Forger plants a bug in Yor's shirt. His suspicions make him more distant. Yor thinks that Forger's cold attitude is because he is disappointed that she can't be an ideal wife. Anya, reading her parents' minds again and feeling a bad atmosphere around them, tells her parents to get along. Forger is surprised at how sensitive his daughter can be. At his workplace, Yuri still can't accept his sister's marriage. He feels remorse as he left that house without bugging them. His workmate asks him to forget about his sister and focus on their job. In the city hall, Yor talks about her marriage with her co-workers. She admits that she has some insecurities, and that she is probably not good enough for Forger. Forger hears all the conversations. As if bugging his wife isn't enough to prove her innocence, Forger and Frankie disguise themselves as State Security Service members, and confront Yor while she is going out to send her boss's letter. They tell Yor that they will let her go if she has a family member who also works in the State Security Service. Yor doesn't say anything, once again proving her innocence to Forger. On their way home, Forger meets Yor and he asks her whether she wants to walk home together. Knowing her insecurities of not being an ideal wife, Forger cheers her up, telling her that Anya and he will be happy if Yor just to be herself. Yor is glad and thinks how grateful she is to have Forger as her husband. They then walk home together. Yor welcomes Anya when she gets home. Anya is pleased to see her parents getting along when she tries to read their minds. That's the end of part 3. You can find the next part in the description. Thank you so much for staying with us until the end. I hope you enjoy our videos. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on notifications for the next updates. It means a lot to us. See you in the next videos.